Stephanie White wasn't about to sit silently. The Fever's head coach, usually measured, composed, and focused, delivered one of the most emotional post-game interviews of her career. Her frustration boiled over as she demanded something bigger than a review of one game. She demanded a league-wide investigation into the state of officiating across the WNBA. Her words weren't just venting. They were a direct shot at the credibility of the league itself. Fans inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse didn't need convincing. They had seen it with their own eyes. Every cheap whistle, every ignored foul, every trip to the free throw line that tilted one way and not the other. Social media erupted with clips. Analysts broke down sequences frame by frame, and the box scores confirmed what everyone suspected. The Aces weren't beating Indiana straight up. They were being handed lifelines until the scoreboard leaned in their favor. What made it worse was how those phantom whistles overshadowed the sheer fight the Fever put on the floor every night. Their hustle, their grit, their heart, all of it buried under the noise of officiating so biased it became the story itself. When White finally sat at the podium, her disappointment poured out raw. "I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games," she said. "A -31 free throw discrepancy, and I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim, and the disrespect right now for our team has been unbelievable. It's disappointing." The way she emphasized the word disrespect wasn't just about the scoreboard. It was about her players, their bodies on the line, their effort being cheapened by whistles they couldn't control. This wasn't new for Indiana. From the start of the series, it felt like they were playing against two opponents, the team in front of them and the officials holding whistles. Game 1 gave the first glimpse. Vegas couldn't generate rhythm, so they leaned on free throws. Meanwhile, Indiana's physical defense, the kind of straight-up chest-to-chest battles the playoffs demand, was suddenly deemed foul trouble. The Aces threw elbows, got away with shoves, lowered shoulders like linebackers. Indiana? They got called for breathing too hard. The double standard was obvious. By Game 2, it wasn't just obvious. It was undeniable. Whistles dictated the pace, pulled Indiana out of rhythm, and made it impossible to build momentum. By Game 3, it was worse. The bias didn't just tilt the game. It built a wall Indiana couldn't climb. The moment that captured it all came in the third quarter. Aaliyah Boston, the Fever's anchor, was called for a foul on Jackie Young. Stephanie White instantly motioned for a review. Everyone in the arena saw it. The bench was ready. But the officials acted like nothing happened. They flat out ignored her request. Seconds later, Chelsea Gray drained a three. Just like that, what should have been Indiana's possession turned into Vegas momentum. The Gainbridge crowd erupted, not in cheers but in fury. Clips of the sequence spread across social media within minutes. Analysts pointed to that exact moment as proof of rigging. They weren't just pointing at one missed call. They were exposing a pattern. Wilson bulldozing through Boston with her shoulder down like a running back and getting rewarded. Indiana players sent crashing to the floor, but silence from the refs. Meanwhile, a Fever player so much as grazed a jersey, and the whistle screamed like a siren. That's when this stopped feeling like oversight and started looking like something worse. Fans called it an agenda, and the tape supported them. Possession after possession, Vegas was allowed to play with a level of physicality Indiana wasn't afforded. A'ja Wilson undercut players on box-outs, swung her arms dangerously into ribs, shoved defenders aside with open palms, and still managed to get portrayed as the victim. Meanwhile, Indiana's every hustle play risked being turned into a foul. Yet what made Indiana different was their response. Lesser teams would have folded. Most would have dropped their heads and sulked about the unfairness. Not the Fever, they fought. And the face of that fight became Lexi Hall. She wasn't supposed to be the story. Nursing a painful back injury from Game 1, she looked stiff in warm-ups. She was listed as questionable every night. By all accounts, she should have played a few minutes at most. Instead, she delivered the game of her career. 16 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, a steal, 6 of 10 shooting, 3 massive threes. Every number screamed resilience. But it wasn't just stats. It was the way she got them. Diving for loose balls, boxing out bigger players, taking charges, knocking down shots at moments that kept Indiana alive. Cameras caught her grimacing in pain more than once, but she never backed down. Hull's effort turned Gainbridge into a madhouse. Every shot she hit, every rebound she ripped, every hustle play she made was a defiant roar against the whistles trying to smother Indiana's momentum. And yet, even on that night, the story wasn't Hull's heroics. It was officiating. Her gutsy career high performance was buried under headlines about phantom whistles and ignored reviews. That's the perfect metaphor for the Fever. Underdogs constantly shoved aside, overshadowed, underestimated, yet still standing tall. Now look at the other side. A'ja Wilson, the supposed MVP, went nearly 3 quarters without scoring. She opened Game 3 with a confident three-pointer, then bricked 11 straight shots. By halftime, she was 1 for 11. By the end of the night, she limped to 13 points on 20 attempts. That's not an MVP performance. That's dreadful. But instead of letting her team feel the sting, the refs and her teammates picked her up. Jackie Young poured in 25, Chelsea Gray chipped in 15, and every questionable whistle tilted momentum just enough to protect Vegas from paying the price of their stars' struggles. Fans weren't blind. They saw Wilson getting bailed out by phantom fouls. They saw Boston neutralize her possession after possession, forcing her into low-percentage shots. They saw the discrepancy in the box score, Vegas living at the free throw line while Indiana fought for everything. And yet, when the media spun it, Wilson's inefficiency was dressed up with platitudes about rebounding and all-around impact. Instead of giving Boston credit for locking down the league's MVP, the narrative bent to protect Wilson's image. That was the final straw for Stephanie White. In her post-game interview, she didn't hide behind cliches. She didn't dance around the truth. She called it out directly. The officiating wasn't just inconsistent, it was compromising the integrity of the game. Her frustration wasn't about one night. It was about her players, Hull sacrificing her body, Boston fighting through double and triple teams, Kelsey Mitchell battling through relentless pressure, being robbed of the fair stage they earned. And she's right. Fans have seen it all season. Caitlin Clark getting hammered with no whistles. Aaliyah Boston fighting tooth and nail for position only to get tagged with phantom fouls. Lexi Hull and Kelsey Mitchell punished for hustling while their opponents flop into free points. This series is just the ugliest culmination of a problem that's been brewing for years. Stephanie White's demand for an investigation matters more than one playoff series. It's about the future of the league. Because without Caitlin Clark, without the Fever, without the wave of new fans filling arenas and smashing TV ratings, the WNBA doesn't have this spotlight. And yet, instead of protecting that growth, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has sat silent while refs tilt games in favor of the league's chosen champions. If Engelbert ignores White's demand, the message is clear: the league doesn't care about fairness. It only cares about protecting brands. That's why White's words have power. She put the spotlight back where it belongs, on the broken officiating dragging this league down. And if there's any justice left in basketball, her demand will be the spark that forces the WNBA to finally clean up its dirtiest secret. So the question now isn't whether the Fever can keep fighting. We know they can. The question is whether the league has the courage to fix itself before it loses the trust of the fans who are finally paying attention. What do you think? Was Stephanie White right to call out the referees? Should the WNBA launch a full investigation? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss what comes next.